Get ready. It's gonna get weird. Things are gonna get weird.
I am a jumble of many, 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 many things. A collection of good and bad.
The defamation case pitting actor Johnny Depp and ex-wife Amber Heard has been dominating the headlines for a couple of weeks now. The two celebrities have hired the best brains in the legal world since no one is willing to lose the case. But it has now emerged that Amber hired a detective to help craft fake evidence to be used against Depp, a move that left the world bemused. So do you think the jury should reject all the evidence provided by Amber's team? And does this mean Depp is innocent? Let's find out. An emotionally battered Amber Heard hired a notorious private investigator to dig up any dirt possible on her ex-husband Johnny Depp during their bitter legal battle. But the investigator later said he found nothing. And now Depp's fans are skeptical the Aquaman actress may do the same in the ongoing defamation trial in Fairfax, Virginia. Former porn star turned Hollywood fixer Paul Baresi said he was hired by Amber's legal team to find people who had been verbally or physically abused by Depp and be star witnesses in the defamation cases, both in the UK and US. Baresi, who has worked for the likes of Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Eddie Murphy, explained he was hired to look into Depp's follies and vices, dating as far back as the actor's Viper Room days, which he co-owned in the 1990s. But Baresi said he couldn't find anyone who had a bad word to say against Depp, even after interviewing over 100 people across the US and Europe who had worked with the actor on films dating back 30 years. Amber's lawyers contacted me and said, "You're the right man for this job." That's how they brought me in. She was emotionally spent and battered and tormented. It was a volatile relationship, Baresi said. Later, he admitted, "I went to the US, France, Italy, Britain, everywhere that Johnny Depp roamed, everywhere he walked. I couldn't find one instance, or at least an admitted one, where he was physically abusive to a woman, smacked or beaten around. He's like an angel, not one who said a depreciating thing." I interviewed dozens of people who knew him going as far back as 3 decades ago, and nobody had one bad thing to say about him. In fact, they couldn't say enough of his overflowing outpouring of generosity and tender heart. A spokesperson for Amber later said, "Mr. Baresi hasn't been involved with Ms. Heard's team since he was let go last year, and his account is entirely inconsistent with the testimony of multiple witnesses." In an email to newsrooms, Baresi gave examples of the plaudits to Depp, writing, "Jane Galali, head of the makeup department on City of Lies, had nothing but praise for Depp. She had worked with him in the past on Public Enemy and Pirates. She said, 'He's a real sweetie.'" City of Lies director Brad Furman told me Johnny was a true professional and a wonderful human being in every sense of the word. And assistant director Paul Silver told me although Johnny was not always on time, he held up the shoot sometimes, he was a professional and always delivered. I asked Silver whether Depp had lost his cool. Silver said, "All artists have a temper." The investigator further said he interviewed Depp's close friend of 30 years, celebrity tattooist Jonathan Shaw, who did most of his body artwork. Baresi said Shaw told him, "The only thing I would be willing to help that gold digging is to help load the gun she wanted to use to blow her effing brains out." The PI, who was once hired to investigate unproven claims that Tom Cruise had a gay affair, went on to claim that Amber grew frustrated with being verbally abused by his associates. Baresi said, "I have to say that the people around Depp are more volatile, even his lawyer Adam Waldman, who is like a bulldog and called me a bagman." Baresi continued, "That's why Amber's frustrations grew. I don't think there's much difference between verbal and physical abuse. It does equal harm." I wanted to stress the point that over the years, based on people I spoke with close to Depp, he is without question proven himself a man who is generous to a fault. Dating as far back as the mid-90s, he's covered legal costs, medical bills, and even paid rent for his friends. The irony is they appear to have underlying loyalty to him, but I'm not entirely convinced they are his friends. At the time of Amber and Depp's split in May of 2016, the actor's friend Shaw wrote, "As a close personal friend of Johnny Depp's for over 30 years, I've only seen him to be one of the kindest, gentlest, and most sensitive and generous human beings I've ever had the great pleasure to know. The man is constitutionally incapable of raising a violent hand to a woman." Everything I know about Amber Heard, however, and it's a lot, seems to support the many claims that she is a lying, two-faced, bottom-feeding fame harpy who lives by the old Hollywood code of hooray for me and F you. He continues, it's disgustingly obvious to anyone with half a brain that the absurd, contrived allegations about Johnny's behavior are nothing but a pathetic and desperate attempt to extort money from my dear little brother, period. His investigation wasn't entirely in vain, though. Baresi did find one unresolved issue regarding the disappearance of Depp's ex-business partner, Anthony Fox. Together, they owned the Viper Room at the time River Phoenix died of a drug overdose in October 1993, but the relationship turned sour later on when Fox accused Depp and his associates of defrauding him out of club profits. Shortly before Fox was due to testify, he disappeared on December 19, 2001 in Ventura County and hasn't been seen since. The investigation is still open. The lawsuit continued in Fox's absence, and in 2004, Depp quietly settled, turning over his share of the nightclub to Fox's daughter, Amanda. Baresi said Amber's legal team wasn't interested in this, but she was, with Baresi adding, "Someone spoke to Amber and she said, no, let Paul go as far back as he can." And now, with the defamation case hitting fever pitch, Amber's legal team will be forced to stick to facts or face a backlash. The trial will likely turn into a 6-week mud-slinging soap opera. You're going to see who the real Johnny Depp is, behind the fame, behind the pirate costumes. Amber's lawyer, J. Benjamin Rottenborn, told the jury during opening statements in the civil trial, because Johnny Depp brought this case, all of this is going to come out. Rottenborn said the evidence will show that Depp physically and assaulted Amber on multiple occasions, but he told jurors that they don't need to make themselves referees of the couple's turbulent marriage if they focus on the basics of libel law. Depp's fans, however, are worried about whether she said the evidence is factual or fabricated, considering Amber's previous mischievous moves. Rottenborn argued that Amber was exercising her First Amendment rights as an advocate when she wrote the Washington Post article, now subject to trial, which she focused largely on the broad topic of domestic violence. He also said the 2018 article did nothing to damage Depp's reputation. He noted that the abuse accusations had been public for 2 years already, and he said Depp's spiraling career was the result of his drinking and drug use, which made him an unreliable commodity to Hollywood studios. This man's poor choices have brought him to this point, he said. Stop blaming other people for your own self-created problems. More than anything, though, he pointed out that the article in question never even mentions Depp's name. Depp's lawyer, Benjamin Chu, acknowledged that Depp's name never appears in the piece. It didn't have to, Chu told the jury. Everyone in Hollywood knew exactly what she was talking about. Depp's team argues that the article is an example of defamation by implication. In the December 2018 piece, Amber wrote that 2 years ago, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse, and I felt the full force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out. Chu said that's a clear reference to a restraining order Amber sought in May 2016, right after Depp told her he wanted a divorce, in which she claimed she'd been physically abused. The lawyer revealed that Amber showed up at the courthouse on May 27th of that year with a bruise on her face that was photographed by the paparazzi. But he said the evidence will show that the actress gave herself the injury to ruin Depp's reputation. He said that Depp and Amber hadn't seen each other since May 21st because he'd gone on a European tour with his band, the Hollywood Vampires. In short, he alleges that Amber faked the evidence, something that she is now well known for. Police and others saw Amber immediately after May 21st, and her face wasn't bruised, Chu said. He said a witness will testify that he saw security footage in which Amber's sister throws fake punches at her and the two laugh. Another of Depp's lawyers, Camille Vasquez, told the jury that Amber refuses to admit she lied and has now dug in even deeper. She can't back down. She's been living and breathing this lie for years, Vasquez says. She's going to give the performance of a lifetime in this courtroom. If Depp's lawyers manage to prove that his ex-wife fabricated evidence, then it's going to be messy for Amber and her team. It's just a matter of time. All these will come out in due course. And that's it from us today. In our upcoming videos, we'll be bringing you more on this case, so be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any of them.